So thanks everyone for joining this session. So yesterday we covered the OOPS concept in Python. So as part of that we basically covered the class, object, property, method types. Today we are going to have the hands-on lab of all those things. Okay, so let's quickly revise this whatever we discussed yesterday. So we discussed about class, which is a blueprint for creating the object. What is object? Object is an instance of a class. Attributes, variable inside a class representing the data. Methods, functions inside a class representing actions. So how to create a constructor of this class? So this is the syntax to create the constructor of a class: underscore init underscore. Then we discussed at high level on the encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism and abstractions. But in more details about this main concept, we will cover each topic one by one. And here we just explain what is the syntax of writing a class and how to declare an object of a class. And we also discussed about class variables. What are class variables? So class variables are within the class and outside of any methods, and they are available to all the instances. Okay, and instance variable are defined within the methods of a class, and instance attribute live on each object. So as many object you will create for that class, for each of that object, so the instance variable will be associated. Then we discussed the properties, so mainly the getter and setter properties, and to how to control the access of a particular attributes from getting it use. Okay, so now we will cover. Then we also discussed the Python methods, instance method, static method and the class method. So we will start the hands-on lab for all of this now. Okay, let me go back here. Let me create a new file. So anyone have any question on this understanding whatever we discussed yesterday before we start the hands-on lab, or we are good to start the hands-on?
Sir, class attribute and class instance.
Yes.
Maybe in practical,
Sure.
after
Yeah, sure.
practical
Yeah,
understanding.
today we are going to cover. Okay.
Okay.
So suppose I am creating a class. So before creating a class we need to use the keyword class. Then I am defining the class here. I am supposing a car is the class name. Okay, then within this class, if I am creating one variable, suppose I am creating one variable, say the brand of the car, which brand this car belongs, right? And I am creating some method inside it, so that I am creating the constructor of this. Okay, in this constructor, as we discussed, we need to specify explicitly the object who is going to associate to it. So self, and then I am passing it to the model of the car. Okay, which model this car belongs to. Okay, this is the constructor I initialize. Now I am initializing this model, self.model equal to model. Okay, and I am creating another method of this which will provide me the get model details. I am creating one methods, get brand and model detail. Okay, or instead of model detail I am saying that get car details. Okay, so which will basically take the, which is not taking any arguments currently, and it is simply returning a string, or it is printing one string, say car dot brand comma self dot model. So I need to pass the object also here. Suppose I am just saying one brand, I already hard coded to it currently for the reference. Okay, so in this what I did, I created one class. I created this variable brand Hyundai, which is called the class variable or the attributes. Okay, And then further what I did, I created the constructor of this class, and I set up whatever the model will pass to this constructor to the object, and then I created another method that will return me the car brand and the model, that will print the car brand and the model. Okay. Next, till now we just created the class and created the constructor and a new method inside this class. Now we are going to create the instance of that class. If I am saying that ki obj equal to car, now I created the instance of this class. So if I will run this particular thing, so it will give the error. Why it will give the error? Because the constructor need a parameter which is saying model, correct? So we need to define the model. Suppose I give the one model of item here. Fine. So now I created an instance of class. After creating the instance of class, I can access the attributes of that class and the methods of that class via this instance. Now I am calling this get car detail instead of, okay. So it give me this information, whatever we are trying to print from here, correct? So at this place, when I am calling this method, we are invoking the method of this particular class. Here we created the instance of this class, and this is the class variable. So once I am saying this is a class variable, right? So then this variable is accessible to all the methods. If I am creating another method here, right, get car brand, okay, then I should be able to access this method, right? I am simply saying that return car.brand. Now I am returning here instead of creating this, right? So if I am creating a new instance of this class, obj1 equal to car of, for here I am taking another example. I am taking the example of model I-20, and then I am saying that key provide me the get car brand. So you saw here within the first method, whatever the get car details method we called via the object obj. So this model brand object is accessible here, brand variable is accessible here also, and within another method get car brand, this variable is also accessible here. So that is the concept of the class variable. Class variable are accessed across the methods, okay. And once we are talking about the instance variable, right, or instance attribute, so every which is associated to a particular object. For this object I am passing this model as I-10, so it is only associated to this. And when I'm creating a new object and I'm passing it I-20, it is associating with this, okay. So these are called instance attributes. It's clear?
Yes.
Fine. So any question on this class variable, instance variable, and how to create a class and how to create the object of a class?
Sir, can we create class without constructor like other language we can create, but here
No, you cannot create here in this, because this is the
one
other.
constructor is important.
Yes, one constructor is mandatory here. You cannot create without this.
Can
So
be multiple constructor create?
yeah, multiple constructor can be created. Yes, I will show you that example also. Suppose I simply, what I did, I simply remove the constructor of this particular thing, right? And
Yeah.
if I'm trying to call it, what is it? What happens? It gives me the error. Car takes no arguments, because its constructor let me remove this here from here. Okay. Now it will give me another error. It is saying that the car has no attributes model, which I am trying to access from this, because I can use in this manner. Okay. Let's do one thing. Okay, let it be like this, and we will use another cell to explain it further. Okay, let me
Yeah.
rerun it, then it will be easy. I am just copy paste it here. Okay, so if you want to initiate some parameter attributes of the instance in the constructor, then you can do it here. Now if you are saying that I am commenting this, I am not creating any constructor here, right? So in that case you will not be able to access it in this manner. Then specifically what you need to do here, you need to pass that model here itself. Then you will be able to access that model, right? Otherwise, if I let me first go in the same manner. Okay, sorry. We should understand a programming language from the error also, what error it is trying to give. Okay, first of all, what it give here in the line number 9, car takes no argument because I did not created any constructor which need a model. Okay, so now I am removing this from here. Okay, so this is the first error it give me, right? Car constructor is not taking any parameter because we did not specifically define any constructor here. So now that error got resolved. What is the next error here? Car object has no attribute model. This is the attribute error it give, and when it give this error, when we are calling this get car details method, because the get car details method is trying to use the model here, but this model was never initialized to this instance variable, right? So either this model can be here itself, I am saying that the model equal to I10, right? And I can access it here like this, correct? And because this is now a class variable, now we don't have any dependency on this. Okay, now it gives it. So to answer your question, yes, we really don't need to create the constructor here. We can go with the default constructor also, but what is the main purpose of the constructor? If you want to initialize some attributes related to instance, then you can use the constructor here. Now I did not created any constructor, but I am playing with this class variables here, right? And it is working fine. This is the one way. What is the another way? Suppose I need to achieve the same functionality here without using the class variable. What I should do then? Then my method should take those parameters, right? It should take those parameters, brand and model. Then this method should take the brand. And here instead of this, I can directly, this is straightforward syntax. Correct? So now I need to pass this brand. Here say Honda, and I'm saying say city, right? And in this method I need to pass the some say Honda itself, right? So this is the another way, which is straightforward way, whatever we are usually doing. To call one method, we are passing some set of parameter to it and it is doing its job, right? Now it is giving me this data. Now once we were discussing this, we mentioned that this is mandatory here, right? If I will remove this from here, right? So what will happen? We are going to receive the error here. So try to understand from the error what error it is giving now. Get car details takes 2 positional argument but 3 were given. Okay. So what you understood from this? You here saying that you are only passing that it only needed the two parameter, but as soon as you created an object of a class and you try to call that method via an object, then you will get this error, because as soon as you are calling one class method via an object, it is automatically passing a extra parameter to it, which is called self. Okay,
Oh,
then fine.
yeah.
If let me comment this code, let me cut this code also for a while. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, no, one second, it will not do this. Yeah, then I need to remove this class also. Basically, if I want to use within the class, then you need to use this. Okay, so now if I will pass self here, then you are not going to receive that particular error, because it is working fine now. So this is mandatory, that we are saying that ki self is explicitly need to be defined in the methods, whatever the methods we are using, or the constructor, if you want to initialize it, like here, right? So this is explicitly need to be defined. So clear up to this part, how to create one instance. So what is the usage of self here, right? How to create a class without a constructor, and why we are creating the constructors, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are clear on the instance class variable also. Now we will move further on the methods, right? What are the different class methods we discussed here last time, right? I can say that this particular method is currently a instance method here, right? I want to convert this particular method, okay, as a static method. Okay, when I am saying that it is a static method, it means it is not doing any calculation or something, it is simply taking some input and it is giving me the data. When you are saying a static method, right, then you don't need this cell, because static methods are directly called on the class, right? So now if I will do this particular thing here, what I will do, instead of creating this object here, let me comment this, I will simply call it with the car object here. Okay, you saw here, right? I am able to call this because this is a static method, right? And I try to call it via the car. Now suppose I am not calling it via this one. Okay, you can call it with this one also, because there is no such restrictions here, it will still work. As we are talking about the definition of a static method is that you can only call it via the class, but you can still call it with the, but that is not the preferred way, not a preferred way to call a static method. So we should call the static method always using the class. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
like in Python,
Yeah.
static method, with the help of static method, we can use that class name. With the class name, we can
Yeah.
get the value. And we can also create the object of the class and then we get it.
Yes, yeah, that I'm telling you. I showed you both the examples here, right? It is not
Mhm.
tightly bounded here that you only need to call it via the class. You can still call with the object also. That is still accessible to you. And the good thing you saw here, right? Once you are saying one method is static, right? You don't need to pass the self here, because internally it is considering this is a static method. It is automatically considering that, okay, and it is doing that job. You saw here, right? Till now, what in this
Mhm.
above method, what we did, we specifically need to define that this is self, if I'm, and this is a static method, and there is another type which is called class method. In the class method we need to define the class there, CLS there, instead of self.
Mhm.
Okay, so that we will also cover. So this is the one thing, if you want to call this, then you don't need to define this, but you can use it, but this is not the right way. So if you are writing an instance method, you should write in this fashion. If you are writing a static method, you should write in this way, and you should call it via the class itself instead of this. Okay. Now I am saying that there is another get method inside it, def. Okay. So till now what we give the combined, or I am just simply writing one method. Okay, get car model. Return model. So if I'm going to write it, what will happen? Can anybody tell me? I only kept this code. This is going to give a error here because model is nowhere declared, right? Where the model declared? Nowhere, right? I even not asking for the parameters. This model is not a class variable. This model is not a instance variable. As soon as I will run it, sorry, as soon as I will call it, I will get the error, not at the runtime. obj1 dot get car model. Then I'm going to get the error here, right? Car get model take one positional argument, but one was given. Right? So what it means here? Because once I declare this method here and I'm trying to call it via some instance, I'm trying to call it from the instance of this class. It is saying that key take 0 positional argument, but one was given. What it means? As I mentioned earlier, as soon as you are calling a method on an instance of a class, it is automatically passing the self here, but that self is not declared here. Now this is the first error, we got it. So what I will do, I will simply write the self here. Now what another error you will receive? Now you are not going to receive that error because that is solved. Now the model is not defined, right? Because how the code is executing, code will always execute in the sequence. First you are trying to call one method, here itself the error occurs, so it gives the first error. Now this error is fine. Now it is going to the body of the function and it finds that this variable is not defined. If this is not defined, there are multiple ways to define it, right? I can pass it as a parameter here itself, or I can create this as a class variable here, right? Now I am saying that model anything, right? Civic. I just simply saying it. So now it give me this data because now there is no difference between this method and this method. The only difference here is that this is taking 2 parameter and it is taking 1 parameter. Correct? Now we are going to discuss the class method here. Okay. Now I want to convert this method itself to a class method. So what I need to do? I am saying that yes.
Sir, one question. There have two results, Honda City and Civic, and not object one dot get car brand, not calling.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Here result two, Honda City and Civic.
Yes, yes. This get car details.
But I and also call object one dot get car brand Honda. It's not so on result. Why?
So you tell me. I will tell you later, but first you tell me, because get code details I am using the print here.
Okay.
You got it, right? One print result it is giving, the another result it is giving for this variable, right? Whatever the variable you are trying to use it, right? Whatever the method we just call it civic here, right? It did not give you this particular get car brand data, right? Why it did not give? Because this particular get car model override this. But for this one, we are using the print statement here. If I am not using the print, then it will only write the single line here, right?
But my question is, why not print Honda and Toyota? like Toyota is not print,
Why
but
Toyota will
but
print many? This is a method which is just returning. It's not printing anything. Only the first method is printing here. Other methods are returning the data. And if you are returning
okay,
one data, it will always going to write the last here. That we discussed earlier also. Once you are trying to call, right?
okay,
So let me take one example here. Okay. A equal to 1, B equal to 2. Fine. I am saying A, I am saying B. What it will do? It will only print the 2 here.
yeah,
So that is the same thing it did here, because whatever these methods are getting called here, whatever these 3 methods are getting called here, which are just simply returning it, and whatever the last method is there, it is going to write that output to the console. Correct? But here I am using the print, so print will also do. If I will say here print A, right? If I am saying like this, so then it will do 2 print A, right? Because one for this particular thing and second for this particular thing, because it is not printing anything for this.
if
Fine?
need to, yeah, if need print Honda, then create other objects like,
No. If you are saying print Honda, instead of returning it, you can simply say print this. Or here inside this, what you can do? You can simply that ki print. Whatever the response it is getting, print the response here.
yeah,
Now it will print Honda also here. Right? I was in the
okay,
middle of something. Okay.
yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
Get a car model. Okay. Where is
It's
the car
over
model?
not.
1 second. Yeah, this one. Yeah, because. Yeah. Mhm. One required positional argument CLS. Okay. So it gave me this particular thing. Okay. So now we were discussing about the class methods, right? At the rate class method. So what is the use of the class method? Class methods are mainly used for the some design pattern kind of thing. If I want to create an instance of a particular class, right? Suppose instead of car model, I am just simply writing this method here. Instead of car model, I am saying get car object. It will give me the object of this car. Okay. And it will create this new thing here. If I will write another constructor also here, and I want to write a particular constructor here, then it will give me the object of that type. Okay. So now no attribute get car. So 1 second. Has no attribute type object car. Car is my class. What it is trying to say me? Just a second. Attribute type car has no attribute get car model. Okay, sorry, I changed the name. Get car take one positional argument, but 1, 2 are given. Okay, car equal to get car object take one positional argument, but 2 was given. So what I did here, I try to call this car on the get car object. This is fine. This is the static method example. I think I clubbed it between. Okay, let me write it class method here. Okay, so now what we are saying here that key we are passing this particular CLS here. So taking one argument, I don't need to pass anything. I will simply say that key car new obj. Okay, so now what I am doing here, it is because I pass some unnecessary parameter here, right? Because it is one for the class methods, as we are passing for the instances the same way it will automatically take it if I will try to call this method via car. You saw here, I did not create this method as a static, I did not create it as instance, but I am calling this method using my car class directly. And what this method is going to do me, it is giving me one object of this. How I can confirm that this is an object? Because if I will use this car new obj and I will try to call one method of this, right? Get car brand, and I will pass some, say, Maruti, right? So you are going to get that data, right? So this is another way to, via class methods, we can create an object of a class according to this, and that we can start using it. So now what I did, till now what I was doing here, I was writing this line of statement, correct? To create an instance of a class. This is another way to create an instance of a class, and which is mainly used in the factory patterns, okay? That we may cover later while we will cover the design patterns, okay? Instance of car class using factory method. Fine. Did I mention here, just you think from this angle, right? Did I wrote this statement here anywhere? No. But internally, what this method is doing, this is taking the class object and it is returning the class. If it is returning this class, this is automatically doing the same thing, right? At this particular stage key, we are creating an instance, so it also created an instance here. So that is the use of the class methods. Basically, if you want to create one instance of a class on based on some specific requirement or specific thing, okay? So now if I want to change it bit, okay, what I can do here for reference, I am creating one constructor of this class also, okay? Now we did not created any constructor of this class. Now within this I am going to write a constructor of this class again. Define underscore underscore init underscore underscore this. I'm saying this is the method and this is this. What it is going to do, self dot model comma brand, right? And it will self dot model equal to model and self dot brand equal to brand. Fine. I created one constructor of this. So now as soon as I created the constructor, right? So it start giving the error wherever we are creating using the default constructor, right? Because missing two required positional argument, model and brand, because now I defined the constructor. If you are defining the constructor, then you need to create your object in the same manner, right? Now suppose I am passing these two values here, right? Same way I need to pass this here. Now I should not get the error related to the object initialization. I am not getting any object related to initialization. Now you simply tell me where I am getting the error. I am getting the error here now because I made the changes to other place, but I did not make the change at this particular place. Correct? Because this is the error, because this particular constructor needed two parameters which I am not passing here. Suppose from here I start passing that one example here, right? Say I am saying Tata car is there and I am saying just Nexon is there, right? Now I pass those two parameters here. Now I should not get that error, right? I will not get that error. So you are clear on this? Once we are creating a constructor, we need to use it. If you are not creating any constructor, we can go with the default way. And if you are right, how you are using the class methods and how we are using the static methods. Fine. Now if it is clear, let's move to the properties example, because that is the another topics which we need to cover. Okay, so I am taking on the same things for just reference, because we are playing with this. We can use the same thing. Okay, same class I mean. Okay, I created a class called car. Okay, what I'm trying to say here, I'm saying that I'm creating one property here. Okay, I'm creating one variable here, brand. The brand will always be Hyundai. Okay, user cannot change the brand. Okay, once I'm saying that user cannot change the brand even while it is setting this variable or initializing this variable. So what we need to do, we need to say that add the rate property, right, brand, def brand. Okay, right, return. One second. Okay, so now what I did, I created one class, I created the constructor of this, I created one class variable brand, right? And or let me do it instead of doing this. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, I'm passing it to the, yeah, we can go in this way. I would like to explain it in another way also. This is fine for the now. Okay, I will make the code change and I will show you that another example also. Now what we did, we just set these properties here. Once we are adding one decorator properties to a particular field, okay, then we are trying to say here that particular, what we are saying, that it is getter only, user cannot make any change to this. Okay, let me try to use this instead of class variable. I'm trying to use this brand here instead of class variable. Okay, fine, and I'm saying this is the brand, this is the brand. Here I will use this brand here. So now I created this class. So now this class is created. Now I'm in this next row, I am creating one object of this class, right? Obj equal to car. I am setting some variable to it. I am saying that Hyundai. Okay, and then ob print obj dot brand. So it printed the brand as a Hyundai, right? So you are passing this as a here, but now what I am trying to do here, I am saying that obj dot brand equal to Honda. That will not allow me to do this. It will give me the error. Why it will give me the error? Because this is only a getter property. Sorry, getter property only. Okay, so if I will try to run this, I am getting the error. Property brand of object has no setter, because I only created this property as a getter only, right? So now, so we should learn these things by running it and check it what it is giving, what it is trying to show me. It is saying me that yes, your brand object has no setter. So as soon as you write this line, you are trying to set some data to this instance variable. It is not allowing you. Now what we need to do, we how to create one setter. We need to create the setter in this way, right? So brand at the rate setter, then I am creating one method brand, right? I am saying self comma, I am saying that what we call this, value or something like this, whatever the value I want to set to this, and then I am saying that self dot brand equal to value. Okay, now I did this particular line, and now if I will try to run it, it will give me Honda here, because now I allowed the setter also here. So whatever the value we are passing to this, so that I am trying to set to this properties. Okay, fine.
Yes.
So now, yes, we discussed two things. One is the property setting and another one is the property getting. We also discussed on the control, how we can control these things. Control in the sense, if someone want to say that if someone is trying to pass the value as empty here, right? Then print some message to him or return, okay, empty value not allowed.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I leave my class because my meeting is starts
Okay,
now.
fine, fine. That's all.
Okay, okay,
So now,
okay. Thank you, sir.
thank you. Where I trying to set this value as empty. Print brand Honda, it is not initially empty value. I run this again, or I did not run it. If value equal to empty, so it is taking this value here, return empty, value equal to empty, return empty value not allowed. Or instead of this, yeah, self not equal to this, or else this, because so now it will give you that empty value not allowed. Okay, so we can write some conditions also here for to control the data, whatever the data we are trying to set it, so that data will work in this manner. Okay, so now instead of this, there are different ways. I can raise the error also. I can say that raise value error. If someone is trying to give me this kind of, okay, so it throws one exception here now, right? What is the error? Empty value not allowed. It throws one exception here. So I will keep this session here itself. To handle this, we can use the try catch block also in our code. Okay, I'm just showing one quickly for reference. Try except exception E, and I'm simply saying print E. Okay, let me move this bit inside. Fine. So now this code is throwing error, but if someone code is throwing some error, how to handle it, we can use the try catch block here. Yeah, we will cover this, but for just example to cover it here, what I said here, exception E, what I write wrong here. Try catch this except exception. What wrong I'm writing here? Except value error. No. Exception E. I am saying that you print E. So what wrong? I did some wrong thing. You just give me one second, because yesterday only I look into this particular thing. Okay. Edge E. Okay, yeah, that was mistake. Okay, edge E. We are saying edge E. That's all. So now we handle this error also here. Whatever the error it will give it, we are catching that error here. Fine. So these are the ways we can create one class with constructor, without constructor, using the static method, using the class method, how to use the properties for the getter setter, and how to control the values of it, this particular properties. Okay, so we covered all these things: instance method, static method, class methods. We covered properties, we covered this class variable, instance variable, we covered class, how to create one class and how to create one object. So tomorrow we will cover this further topic like inheritance, polymorphism, and abstractions. Okay, so again I'm repeating the same thing. Best practices for beginner: write code daily, follow naming convention, write proper comment on your code, use JIT for version control, engage with Python community, and learn from open source. So today we learned the OPS concept, basic OPS concept. Okay, so thanks a lot. If anyone have any question, we can take it, otherwise we can close this call. Thanks a lot for joining this. Anyone have any question? Then I would take it as a no. Thanks a lot. I'm closing this session. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you.